I'm back. Yo, it's been a minute. We are back with another Wuthering Waves video. I haven't said that in almost a week, bro. I haven't said that in almost a week, but we're back. I will be streaming tonight around 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Eastern. When you're watching this, we still have the subathon going on 426 hours. But I'm back, baby. Of course, while I was gone, they dropped some interesting things about Camellya and her weapon. And I think this is a very interesting conversation to have because, first, aesthetically, the weapon is very demure, very mindful. It's a very beautiful weapon. I'm going to roll it just for the looks of it. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to keep it a stack. But I think there are other things that you could do that you don't need this weapon. So they also dropped a new 4-star weapon that we'll be getting from an event, which is pretty sick. I wanted to look at the few alternatives and kind of just talk about a few things and break everything down because Camellya's weapon, I think, spoils some of her gameplay mechanics in a sense where I think we have more to come to see. I read it previously, I read it briefly, and there was something I noticed that was very interesting, and I think there's something deeper where Camellya is going to be the first of many characters. They're going to manipulate different systems in the game with how they work. So let me not be so vague. Let's get right into it. So Red Spring, again, absolutely beautiful. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to keep it a stack again. I think it's the best looking weapon in the game. I would love for this to be a skin because I would put this on everything else. I know it's not possible. I'd pay extra money for that, but whatever. So, Red Spring, Camellya buds silently unfolds as promised, blah, 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 whatever. I mean, listen, read the description. I don't got to read you that, you know what I'm saying? But this is what we're here for. Base stats, 587, crit rate 24.3. When you compare that to Emerald of Genesis, it's 588, 24.3. So pretty much the same thing. Maybe one attack. That might be in translation. I don't know. But it's base stat-wise, same level as Emerald of Genesis. So off rip, if you're really concerned about, let's say, getting a crit rate because you want to use a crit damage echo, if you have Emerald, you might be fine. But let's look at what's happening here. So increase attack by 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, depending on the refinement, when dealing basic attack damage. The wielder gains 10, 12.5, 15, 17, 20% basic attack damage bonus for 14 seconds. This effect can be triggered once per second, stacking up to 3 times. This is the part that I think is interesting and where, again, I think we're going to see a lot more depth come into play with these Wuthering Waves kits, and it makes me excited. So it says, when the wielder's concerto energy is consumed, I think y'all can see that, right? I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. Oh, never mind. I can't. Well, let me save this. I just realized it might be a little small, but I got y'all. So we'll do this. Bam. So it says, here you go, cool. First day back, we're already scuffed. It is what it is. What can you do? Shut up. When the wielder's concerto energy is consumed, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80% basic attack damage bonus for 10 seconds. This effect can be triggered once per second and ends when the wielder is switched off field. So normally, as we know, when you activate concerto energy, you swap off to another character. This is signifying that when the wielder's concerto energy is consumed, they are still on field, specifically because it says this effect can be triggered once per second, ends when the wielder is switched off field. So clearly, there is something with Camellya, right, where she is going to be. This is an inference. This is 100% an inference based off of the text that I am seeing. There's going to be something in which that she consumes her concerto energy on field, and then she gets a buff. So as opposed to doing a normal swap, which you could obviously swap if you wanted to, you have the alternative to maybe press a different button, consume a portion of that. I don't know how much concerto energy, might be all of it, might be 10%, 20, I don't know. But you're consuming a part of your concerto energy to get a buff. Now, obviously, we also know that this is with normal attacks, right? So Sanhua is going to be a great in-slot. It probably will be their best in-slot unit. Sanhua Donjin will still be good because of Havoc, amplification. But I think Sanhua will probably be the best in-slot. But so just based off of that alone, I mean, these are the essential materials. But just based off of that alone, I think this is very interesting because before we get into the pull value of the weapon, I think the overall grand scheme, we were having a conversation the other day, me, Sarah, Gibb. I put up multiple videos about that, and we had like another 2-hour conversation. I might upload that as like a podcast. Let me know if you guys are interested. It was really good stuff. Where Wuthering Waves has depth. It has the pairing, it has the dodging, it has the forte, it has the, it has all that stuff. It has the concerto. And although I don't like Yoo-Hoo, I appreciate what they did. They tried something different, and they're taking their mechanics and they're trying to not just keep it basic. They're innovating this early on in the game gives me hope a year down the line, 2 years down the line, 3 years down. Like, we're gonna have some pretty crazy stuff, and the combat's just eventually going to get advanced. I don't know if we'll ever get to the PGR level of craziness, because at some point they do have to keep the casuals in there. But just sidebar, I think this is very interesting, and I'm very excited to see what other types of mechanics can we manipulate and see how the gameplay happens. So I know the new character is going to do that. They showed that off already, so that's pretty sick. But so yeah, now in terms of pull value, if you want her to be your main, and you're like, listen, I want this to be my main, and I don't want to bother running Sarhua, and like it is what it is, I say pull it, man. It aesthetically, it's a beautiful weapon. It's absolutely beautiful, and dude, first day back. First, I'm a little rusty. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful, and it's objectively a great weapon for her. This weapon will probably not be great for a lot of other characters. I don't think it'll be as universal as Emerald, realistically. And Brilliance has a really good stat stick. That's why it's really more as universal. But it's not bad, man. I mean, overall, again, you're getting an attack increase. You're getting a basic attack damage increase. And then your Concerto energy is consumed. You're getting more. So, basic attack damage. Not a bad weapon. If you are saving Asterite because Yinlin is around, Zhang Liao is around, and both their weapons are around, and you say, Ethan, I don't want to get this, and I don't have Emerald, and I don't have Blazing. This weapon, quite possibly, is the best 4-star weapon we've had put in the video game, at least for a main DPS. Somnor Anchor. Somnor, I don't know how to pronounce that, but this weapon is an event weapon, so everyone will be able to get an R5. You'll be able to get an R5. This is crazy. So at first glance, I saw this last night. I came home. It was like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I saw this. I was like, this doesn't look like anything crazy. I just looked at the two stats and I clicked off. I looked at it again this morning. I learned how to read overnight, pretty much. Double attack, 462 and 18.2, which is still valid because most likely Camilla's going to scale off of attack. So the more attack you have, the better, right? That's not a big deal. Meow. Sorry. So gain 1 stack of hiss when dealing damage to the target, with 1 stack generating every 1 second. Hiss. Each stack increase the wielder's attack by 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4% for 3 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. You can get up to 40% attack bonus on top of the attack stats, but then you get crit rate. Switching off the wielder clears all stacks. Gaining 10 stacks increases the wielder's crit rate by 6, 7, 9, 10, 12. Available in version 1.4 main event. You will be able to get this R5 for free. In my personal, humble, professional opinion, because I'm the greatest of all time, and there's no doubt about it. If you feel otherwise, you're wrong. With such a good weapon like this here, and the sword having the same exact crit rate and the same exact attack as Emerald, or maybe even 1 less attack, which is a big deal. Big deal. It's a very big deal. I can't tell you in good faith to roll that this is a must-pull weapon. Something like Yinlin's weapon has high value due to the fact that that weapon could be used on pretty much any rectifier user, and then we don't really have any other great weapons that are rectifier, right? So that weapon is amazing. I use it on Yinlin, I use it on Encore, I use it on my Gigi, I skip Gigi's weapon. Like, it is just really great. We do have Emerald of Genesis, which gives you energy regen when Resonance skill increase attack by 6%. And then we have Blazing Brilliance, which is attack increased by 12, and all the stacks, whatever. And so these passives might not work for Camilla, but if you don't even want to run those, this weapon is right here. And I think it's just perfect. You get more than enough attack. You get 40% attack here, 462, 18.2, and then 12 crit rate. And then if you really want, just run Sanhua for the normal attack damage. And I'm not going to say, listen, I'm not the theory crafters. I don't know how to do Excels. I don't know how to do numbers, all that stuff. My assumption is that free-to-play weapon is going to be as close to this best in slot as possible. I don't know if it's going to go over Emerald, but I think it's going to be around the same range of Emerald of Genesis. And so I think that realistically, me personally, I'm going to roll this weapon. I'm going to get this weapon because I think it looks beautiful. However, I can't say in good faith to roll for this when we know that potentially 2.0 is right around the corner. I think that's why they haven't drip marketed lately. We have massive updates coming soon. You know, Yilin and Zhang Liao. Zhang Liao, I think, is a must pull. I think every account should have Zhang Liao in his weapon. So, in good faith, I cannot tell you to use your asteroids on this. It is not a bad weapon. It is just specifically good for Camilla, not as universal. You would not use this weapon on like Rover. You know, I mean, I guess you could because he does normal attacks, but like, you know, you're not using this in a situation like how, you know, you use Blazing Brilliance on Donjon or Emerald on any other sort. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think we're eating, bro. You're eating. You want to skip this? You don't have either one of these? Bam. I don't know, bro. I think this is very good. With that being said, let me know what you think. I love you. Mwah, I'm happy to be back. I'll see you in the next one.